Okay, just doing a quick update. It is day 18. I did not film anything yesterday, I believe, but I kind of made an executive call. I was in a lot of pain 2 days ago with my calves. I did only like 5.5, 6 miles, and both the day before were 6 miles, and that day was 6 miles, and it was just really, really painful. I also had the issue with being dehydrated, which I did recover from enough, but I did have to take like at least 2 hours to kind of recoup and get fluids in me before I could get on trail. That's another reason I didn't go a little bit longer that day. So I kind of made an executive call. Deep Gap was actually open. There was trail magic there, which I do believe I got some pictures of. And I went up to Standing Indians Shelter, which is only a mile past Deep Gap. And it was very windy and cold that night, and I actually woke up at like 4 in the morning. And I was like, you know what? Deep Gap is open. I bet somebody can come shuttle me into Franklin. I don't have to walk another 23 something miles to Franklin before I get new shoes. And I was like, you know what? I can also, I'll message the Grove and see if they have, which is in Franklin, they're a hostel here, and see if they have space. And maybe I can do like 2 zeros. I can use one of those zeros to get shoes, try that out, kind of recoup a little bit, rest off some of the soreness that I'm experiencing, because clearly taking 1 0 and doing, like, I guess specifically doing slack packing wasn't giving me enough of a break. I really hate that. They're like, a big part of me wants to be doing more miles right now, and I don't want to take days off of the trail, but I really did feel like I was getting to a point where if I kept going, I was going to have an overuse injury and I was going to have to take even longer off trail. So I didn't film anything yesterday, but I right after messaging Bloobs and Willow run the hostel here, and Bloobs is like, happened to see my message, and he was like, well, I can pick you up at 5:30. So I quickly got everything packed up, and I went down, and he picked me up and drove me to the Grove. They didn't have any space for me, and I obviously hadn't paid for the night, so I ended up, he's like, you can hang out in our hammock area. They've got like this really beautiful hammock area over here where you can just like lay in a hammock and chill. And then they have a front porch area, and he's like, you can hang out in either of these places, and then when everybody gets up, like, you can come in. There's a breakfast at the Baptist church here in town for 2 weeks straight. During this like bubble period, they have a free hiker breakfast every morning at like 7:30. So at 7:15 the shuttle comes to take us there. So I actually I sort of have like somewhat of a new trail name. I was kind of deciding if I wanted to go with that name, but I was like, okay, I'm gonna sit on the porch. It was cold and windy, so I had all my layers on. I had my mid layer and then my puffy, and then I put my rain jacket over that for a wind layer, and then I got my sleeping bag out of my pack, and I wrapped it around the lower part of my body, and I just laid in the chair and like fell asleep. And so some of the hikers were waking up, and they noticed me, and they're like, who is this like random homeless person like sleeping on the porch outside the hostel? So wait, they were like making fun of me. And then Mike, he's a hiker, but he sometimes does shuttles for the hostel on the weekend. He's like hiking during the week or something, and then like shuttling on the weekend here. I don't know the exact setup, but he saw me and he was like, here, come down here. And then pretty quickly had to go to the breakfast thing. Came back for the breakfast thing. I did some like organizing and stuff. I got like the actual tour inside, and then from 12 to 3, the Lazy Hiker Brewery here in Franklin was doing like a free lunch thing. So I went there. I had to pay for my beer, but I got free food there. So I had free breakfast, I had free lunch, and then and they were like playing live music and stuff there. That was really fun. And then yesterday in the evening we came back. I did do a run to Ingalls. I didn't need food because I already had food in my bag. However, I did get I had to get more famotidine for acid reflux, and I don't have any ibuprofen. I'd run out low on that, so I got some more of that. And then I went and I also picked up some like a handful of Lara bars and some like cookie brittle and a lunch / dinner for today. So I've been running kind of like errands. I went outside. That was this morning, actually. I went to Outdoor 76 yesterday after the brewery and got new shoes. So I've been wearing those today, kind of getting a feel for those. I'm going to go do a walk here in a bit and kind of go, there's a kind of a decent sized hill right outside this hostel. Going to at least walk up and down that a couple times, get a feel for where my calves and my Achilles are, and then how my feet feel in these shoes. What's good about this like where I got extracted off the trail, where I bailed out, is once I get back on trail at Deep Gap, I'll have to do like the 24 miles back to Franklin. So if these shoes aren't really working for me, I can leave my existing shoes that I had been wearing if I wanted to switch back to those here at the hostel and come back. I can also go back to Outdoor 76 and try another pair instead, or return these. So they were super helpful there if you are getting to this point in your hike and you get to Franklin. There's a Outdoor 76 in Franklin and in Clayton, which is kind of back towards, if you say at Stanimals around the bend or the Green Dragon. There's a shuttle, the free hiker shuttle or free town shuttle that goes into Clayton, so that you could go to that Outdoor 76, and then here you can walk to it. Like, the town is literally like right here, so everything you need you can walk to. So yeah, today I got up, went to the free breakfast again. Then I went to Ingles. I got the medications and the Lara bars and my it was like a turkey wrap with hummus. I ate that for lunch, and then we just went to Cookout, and I got fries and a shake. So definitely eating well. And then I've been trying to make sure I'm hydrating ahead of getting on the trail. One of the things that's really hard about being off the trail is you've got things like beer or just things with caffeine in them, like soda and coffee, and it's easy to like overdo it on the diuretics. A lot of those things are things that I don't really drink a lot anyway, because caffeine, I don't drive very well with caffeine still after some of the health stuff I had a few years ago. And then alcohol, I have to also be careful to not do like more than 1 or 2 beers at most. So yeah, that's where I am. Kind of bummed that I've been taking 2 days off trail. Everybody here has been super kind, super nice. Like, we've got a group of hikers over here that are about to get back on trail. But everybody that's been like ahead of me, because I jumped forward. This is around mile 110 on the trail, so I jumped from like 80 something to 110. So if people were a day or two ahead of me, or people who are at the same place as me, it would take me about 2 or so days to get here. I'm seeing all the people that I kind of like left on the trail, so it was nice to see everybody again and to get to reconnect with them and see how their hiking has been. And I got a really good night's sleep last night. I think that also helped. I am spending time doing, I kind of did some deeper research on like things I can be doing, because my calves have gotten to like a more, my calves in particular seem to get to like a more advanced stage of like pain and misery. Doing too much stretching can be a problem, I guess. It can just add to the strain that's already on those muscles if they're too weakened. So I've been doing more light stretching and doing like my cork ball rolls, and I did a little bit of ice therapy, but I need to do that again today. And then they actually have like a tub to do a Epsom salt foot soak bath thing downstairs, so I might do that tonight too, since I have the time. anything to just kind of help with like the inflammation. I did buy a pair of compression socks at Outdoor 76 as well. They're pretty tight, so I might exchange them for one size up, but I would have to go do that today, and I don't know if maybe that's what I do for my walk. Instead of walking up and down the hill, I go walk over this Outdoor 76 and exchange those. But yeah, that's where I am. Not on the trail technically, but I was between what happened at home with our cat and the amount of pain that I was in. I was getting to a point where I just really didn't want to be on the trail at all. Like, I just didn't feel like being out on the trail. And for me, that was really the first time where I was feeling like I just didn't want to be out there anymore at all, and I just wanted like Sean to come pick me up and take me home. And I felt like it was too early. I'm only a couple weeks in, and you know, I just need to, like, this is part of what we have to manage. I have to be able to like manage pain or injury or you know, something, if I'm struggling with something physically, but we also have to be able to manage like the mental, emotional side of things with not being together. So unfortunately, it just all hit really hard at once. And so I wouldn't say it's like a learning curve, but it, you know, it kind of was, but kind of the intensity of it and everything happening at once was really overwhelming. So having these 2 0 days gave me a bit more of a reset. It helped me kind of process a little bit more the loss and of our cat, and then Sean was able to, you know, talk to me a bit more over the last few days. So we've been able to connect, and I've been able to check in with him and make sure he's feeling good, which makes me feel better as well, to know that he's not recovered by any stretch, but that he's not in a state where I'm really super worried about him. I feel really bad for him still, and I wish that we could be together and that I could have been there like through this period, but he's done a really good job of reaching out to people that we know that he normally wouldn't be reaching out to in this scenario if he had me there, and that made me feel a lot better knowing that. So it's given me a little bit of a relief there from a mental, emotional standpoint, and that will help me like refocus again on continuing to be able to hike even if like I'm in some pain, and allow me to like focus on trying to continue forward. I really love Franklin. It is super hiker friendly. Like I said, everything's within walking distance, but the townspeople here know the hikers. They know what we're doing. This is really, like the #1 hiker town or whatever on the AT, and you can definitely tell that for a reason. So I'm gonna leave this here, but the next update that I do will probably be on trail. It's always really busy at the hostel, so it's hard to get a moment to myself to film, but I've enjoyed these last 2 days. I've had a lot of really good conversations with people. I've been trying to prioritize relaxing a little bit more over like, and trying to keep myself from becoming overstimulated. I think when I was at Stanibles around the bend, it was just like hard to have any space or any moment where you're alone or you just can like think and relax. And the way that this hostel is kind of just set up, it's been a little bit easier to find like a corner to stick myself into and relax. I definitely think I'm probably more of a hotel hiker, even though I haven't stayed in a hotel yet, just because I do value that. Like, when I get off trail, I want to relax, and I need to be like, you know, my brain's been so busy running through just like anybody who runs might kind of understand this, but when you like do long distances and long hours or miles, your brain is just focused on the technical piece of that. And so when you get off trail, you really want to shut down that you really want to be able to shut down your brain and just relax and not have to like focus so hard on anything. And it's a little hard to do that in a hostile situation where you have, not a hostage, a hostile situation where you have a bunch of people and you also want to socialize, and then you're trying to figure out how you're going to get shuttles to certain places, and each hostel has slightly different rules and a different schedule, and you know, if you're only staying there for like half a day, by the time you even figure out what you're doing, you're gone, and it can just kind of be a lot. So the trail feels a lot simpler in a way than going into town. But I'm getting my bearings. I'm kind of figuring out the systems as I'm going through this. And I'm gonna sit here and enjoy the rest of my Oreo mint milkshake and figure out what I'm gonna do with the rest of my afternoon here on my second zero. Okay, it is Monday, the 30th, and I'm all packed up with my pack here. We are awaiting bus/shuttles to get back to trail. I'm going to be going back to Deep Gap this morning. We were up at like 7 to catch a shuttle at 7:15 to get breakfast at the Baptist church. Pancakes and bacon again. And so I'm feeling pretty full, feeling pretty ready. I took some time yesterday to go through my food bag again and reorganize it. I had organized it just like by what things were, and instead I went through and organized things by what day I plan to eat them. Sorry, there's construction on the new high school over here. Yeah, so getting back on trail today, it's always a rush in the morning. No matter how much you think you've got your stuff packed up, there's always a panic as soon as everybody gets up to get everything ready. So I get a little flustered, if I'm being honest. I'd prefer to wake up and be able to kind of mosey a little. But you know, it takes an hour and a half to break down camp usually at like a shelter or campsite. And then here we have like 15 minutes sometimes to pull ourselves together and make sure we've not forgotten anything before heading out. So it feels a little bit of a different pace than the trail does. But yeah, I'm looking excited. I just did a couple of small hills just to test. I don't know what's going on here. I had a sunburn here, and it looks like it's just kind of like stayed as a rash. I'm hoping that kind of heals. My hands have been kind of itching. I'm afraid they're gonna kind of like blister over. It's just this portion of my hands, like when I wear my sun gloves, that my hands don't get covered. I do actually have gloves now that Sean sent me, so I'll start using those to cover my fingers too, so it doesn't get worse. But don't have those on at the moment. So yeah, so I'll get the trail. I didn't get to do like, normally I would like to do a cork ball massage rollout, and I would have prepped my snacks for the day, and I would have like organized things a little bit in my bag to be set up for the day. I didn't get to do any of that this morning, so when I get to trail, I'll kind of put my pack down and organize myself. But look at all the packs here. We are ready. All right, just another update. I'm on trail now again. I am almost at the top of Standing Indian Mountain. I got dropped off, came up, I rested for a moment at the Standing Indian shelter there and used the privy, and then continued my way up. And the only thing I've got left is just a little up here. So I'm very, very close to the technically the top, but this is pretty high. I've got a nice view here. And as an update, coming up the mountain, I kept it slow and easy. I don't want to undo, you know, the rest that I did on my body for the last 2 days, but I wanted to also try and get a good gauge. It's like a 1.5 2 mile long uphill, so it's not crazy steep, but it's a longer one. So it's a very, very long switchbacks up the side of the mountain. So I was able to get a gauge. I can definitely tell my left calf feels better. My right Achilles is still a little tight and sore. So I do think I am going to stop at the Beach Gap campsite instead of pushing and doing 7 miles. I'll do only 4 or 5 today, and that's just to kind of do a Nero basically, so that maybe it will heal a little bit more. That'll also give me time in camp to do things kind of slowly and make sure I take time to stretch and use my cork ball and roll out my calf using my trekking pole. So I just stopped at the top here because I was feeling a little depleted. I've been really tired. I don't know if it's the pancakes at the free pancake breakfast at the church or whatever, but man, I've been eating that breakfast and I come back full, and then I just want to nap. And that's honestly, it's been like me yawning all the way up the mountain. So I might actually stop at the campground and get my stuff set up and take a little nap, and then wake up and do dinner and stuff. So it'll be an easy day. I'm still wrestling with the fact that my miles aren't where they need to be, but everybody has to hike their own hike, and I've got to take it at the pace that I can take it at right now. I noticed that this is still not looking really great. I think this is blistering because it got burned several times. So I'm feeling good overall. I'm gonna take it easy over the next few days. It's gonna take 3 days to do 23 miles, which I think most people would probably do in 2. But I'm gonna take it really easy and then try and position myself closer to Franklin, so that maybe I can get. They have a 9:30, 12:30, 3:30 shuttle into town. I'm gonna try and grab that one, and maybe the earlier one. So if I can just burst camp somewhere really close to the Winding Stair Gap pickup spot, then I can do very few miles on my 3rd day and kind of have more of it would be a Nero, but almost a 0. So that's kind of my plan right now. And my shoes are doing great. So I bought the Topo Traverse shoes. They have a 5mm drop. They feel really comfortable right now. I don't have any major issues with them. I mean, they're new, and there's always a risk when you bring new shoes out that they're going to give you blisters or something. I do feel a little bit of rubbing on the heel of my left foot, but nothing crazy right now. Nothing I even feel like I need to address yet. It's more maybe relacing the shoe might help with the rubbing. Yeah, so I'm happy with these right now. I'll have to see how they do over the next couple days. I'm obviously not doing a ton of miles over the next couple of days, so I'm not putting them to an extreme test, but I should be able to tell. I can only test them so much without potentially just undoing the rehab that I just did. So I'll let you guys know how those work out for me as I continue to use them. But I know a lot of people are using these on trail, and they recommend them, so it's a good sign. Good morning. It is March 31st, Tuesday, March 31st. Last night I stayed at Beach Gap at a tent site. I got there pretty early. I think the earliest I've been to any campsite so far, around 4:30, something like that. And there's a family there of a father and two sons, and we just hung out and chatted through the evening and relaxed some. I had debated pushing another 3 miles, but I decided not to. The Carver, I think it's Carver Shelter, was another 3 miles or so, but I decided to keep sticking with my plan and not push miles. My feet were a little sore when I first got up this morning, but my Achilles actually feels pretty good today, even on my right foot, which is great. So hopefully continuing to make the right call here. Today's mileage is like 7.7 or something like that. So going a few more miles today, gonna see how that feels. And I'm gonna end at the Betty Creek campsite. There's a bear box there, so I won't have to hang my bag today, which will be nice. One less chore. Overall, in a pretty good headspace this morning. I was definitely just feeling fatigued yesterday, just tired all day, so that was another reason I decided to go ahead and camp a little early, because I was like yawning all day yesterday. But yeah, I got a chance to stop for water. I'm already like a third of the way. I've already done at least a mile, almost 2 this morning. So making headway, and it's cloudy again today, so it's going to be cloudy and cool for the next 2 days, which actually should be perfect. It's going to be like 65 during the day and like 55 at night, so that's pretty perfect, honestly. And it's supposed to be cloudy, so hopefully that saves my skin a little bit from sun exposure, and I won't have to deal with a lot of heat issues, so dehydration, electrolytes issues aren't as much of a problem. So this is kind of working out really well that I'm out here on these specific days, because I get to try the shoes and everything and get back on trail and have a little bit more less variables to have to try and manage around. But yeah, I'm feeling good this morning, and I ate almost all of my food yesterday. Still kind of struggling. I have about 2,000 to 2,500 calories a day to eat, and I probably ate like 1,800 of it yesterday. I got up this morning and cooked breakfast at camp, which I haven't normally been doing, but went ahead and did. I got carrot cake oatmeal in this bag. That was good. That's always a good option. And had some peanut butter, drank some water. Haven't had any electrolytes yet, but I'll probably have some of those soon. But yeah, I feel really good. I got warmed up, and I don't really have any Achilles pain at all at this point. So, but I also haven't had to do a big uphill. I'll have an uphill coming up here very soon. So I'll get to kind of evaluate how that feels. That's usually where the pain is when I'm experiencing it. So I'll leave this here. Really beautiful ridge walk here. It's nice every once in a while. Then the trees clear out and I can actually see the view unobstructed. Good morning. It's Wednesday, April 1st. I just finished packing up and eating breakfast. I was at Betty Creek campsite. This campsite is really neat. There's like kind of a long stretch here where there's camping along the actual AT, but then on Betty Creek Trail there's even more. And if you go down the Betty Creek Trail a little bit, if you're going Noba, if you go left on it, there's the gap sign, then there's actually a very nice creek that you can really easily get water from, but you can also, do things like laundry and stuff if you needed to as well, really easily from that creek. So that was nice. Last night I was feeling tired, so I took a nap when I got into camp. I spoke with two men. One was from Florida, one was from Germany, and we were just kind of talking about all these various different kinds of topics, but it's really interesting to see all the different people that are out here and where they're from and like why they decided to do this particular trail. So that was really nice to talk with them. We ate dinner last night together and then breakfast again this morning, and they just headed out. They're going to push to Franklin today. I am only going to Rock Gap Shelter, I think is the one. It'd be about 8 miles today, so. But it's a very nice day. It should be a little bit more sunny today, it looks like, than yesterday. It was pretty much overcast all day yesterday, so it'll be nice to have a little bit of sun today. I'm not wearing my sun sleeves yet, but if the sun fully comes out here or the clouds clear, I'll add those with my gloves. I did put sunscreen on my neck and face, so that's covered. I think I'm a little dehydrated starting out this morning, so when I get to my first water source, which I think is about a mile away, I'm going to stop and kind of camel up a little bit, trying to keep another episode like the one I had like 5 or 6 days ago from occurring. It's harder when it's cool like this because you don't feel like you're sweating as much and you don't naturally get as thirsty. So we had just walking through these like rhododendron tunnels. It's really nice. A little bit of green tunnel shade already, even though the leaves haven't come out on the trees. I'll update you guys later. All right, I just climbed up to the top of Albert. That was a steep climb. Oh, and somewhere on here is the number 100. I gotta find it. You're supposed to be able to climb up there, but I don't think you can get in. That's what I heard. Where's the number? Is it on this side of the stairs? Yeah! 100 miles! Woo! All right, I climbed to the top of the fire tower. I can't look down, but you guys can. And it just got absolutely amazing views. Let me change that. This is just 360 views of the mountains. Got a storm here over in the south of us. Come over here. Woo! That vertigo is real. It's like we're on top of the world. Wow. Just absolutely amazing. Feels so good to hit 100 miles. I honestly felt like this 100 miles was harder to get to than the first 50 somehow. It's been a really tough mental and emotional game to get here. Physically, just being waylaid a couple days with resting and struggling with that. But I got here. Day 21, we officially hit 3 weeks on the trail. It's been a little longer than that calendar days. I'm not counting the 5 days I went home for work, but yeah, we got some rain coming. There's been some thunder in the distance, so I don't want to spend too long up here, but that rain probably will pass through this area, at least skirting this mountain range over here, kind of near me, so if I stand here long enough, I can probably watch it come in and get closer to me. But honestly, that'll be some of the, if it does rain, that'll be some of the first rain I've actually had to hike in. So far, when it's rained, it has been at night when I've already been in my tent, basically. So, whew, wow, it is just gorgeous here. I'm gonna sit down for a moment because heights, and then try and enjoy the view a little bit. So this is currently our trail. We just got a little bit of rain, but I'm pretty sure this has been wet before that. Just leading right into our water source here. Oh, look how pretty. These are the moments I miss my waterproof shoes. That's a nice little water source. There's not really water coming out underneath that tree there. It's a little hard to see, but there's a rainbow off in the distance there. So, positive sides are there being a bunch of storms. We've also stopped. I decided to stop a little bit short of the shelter. That'll put me doing 5.5 miles tomorrow to get to Franklin. But I got some friends here. We've been passing each other back and forth today, and trying to get set up before the rain comes again. Good morning. It's April 2nd. And waking up to a beautiful sunrise. Back on this side, we still have the moon over there setting. It's really hard to see on camera, but it's here. It was super bright last night, full moon. I've been successfully able to get down to almost nothing in my food bag, so what I have left is stuff I'm not cooking. So I'm going to take a little bit of extra time this morning to just drink some water and enjoy the sunrise. All right. Good morning. I decided to stay in camp. There's a group of men there that have all worked together in the past, and maybe, I think 5 or 6 of them, and they camped at the same campsite as me last night. They were very nice, and they're pushing through to try to get to the knock maybe by the end of the weekend, so they should pass me at some point today. But I'm stopping at Winding Stair Gap, which was 5.5 miles. I think I've already done it like 1 to 1.5 if I were to estimate. So I'm on my way. I'm still going downhill, which is nice. I'll have to do an uphill here in a bit. But overall, this is a pretty easy 5.5 miles this morning. Feeling really good this morning. My Achilles didn't have any pain, which is good. I'm like overall kind of sore, like you usually are, but no specific Achilles pain. Bottoms of my feet don't hurt. So feeling really good. I had a Cliff Bar and a Lar Bar for breakfast, which wasn't the most, probably calorie dense breakfast, but was higher carb heavy. And also drank some of the Tailwind Endurance Fuel that I had. So between those things, actually feeling pretty good. I think I accidentally lost my, I bought 2 of the Tailwind Endurance Fuels, and I think I lost one of them somewhere, just maybe on the trail. I don't know, because I had an unflavored and a lemon, and all I had left was the unflavored one, so that was a little bit surprising. I don't know what happened to the other one. But tried the lemon one, kind of keeping that in my system, seeing how I feel today. Right now, I feel really good. I feel clear. I feel like I've got energy. So I think the whole lack of carbs thing is probably a pretty fair guess based off of my earliest listening here. But my goal is just to get to Winding Stair Gap, get into Franklin, get over to the hostel and do my chores. My phone battery is still very low. My Garmin InReach, oh, I never turned that on, is also low. I changed it to tracking every half an hour versus every 10 minutes, which is overkill anyway, to be honest. But yes, battery's at 7%. So I will definitely need a charge. The charge is probably the thing that I need the most out of everything. But I am successfully leaving the woods with very little food in my pack. So that was another goal of mine for this 3.5 day section. All right, I'll catch you guys up later. All right, I'm just walking through downtown Franklin right now, and you're an AT thru hiker when you're walking down the pavement, you're like, oh, why is there an AT blaze just on the road? This isn't the AT, and then you realize that's just a road marking that looks like an AT blaze.